Greetings, Diesel Funketeers. Tim Fielder here for a hello, Dr. Lawana Richmond. How you doing all the way from San Diego, California? But no, that's not me. That's one of my guests here. I'm Tim Fielder, drawing live drawing with, I'm dyslexic, live drawing, I've switched the words. Live drawing with Tim Fielder, Diesel Funk Dispatch, Tuesday, October 28th. It is 5:12. Running a little bit later than normal. Well, I'm in between, I would like to say 3 to 5, but that's pretty much what's been happening. And I'll go for the next 2 to 3 hours. It's wonderful to be here. It is now 5:12 Eastern Standard Time. I am Tim Fielder, visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist, here today to do a little Afrofuturism talking and drawing and rambling on and doing all the stuff that's going. I've had the pleasure to talk with some very good people today, throughout the day, which is pretty good. Let me just make sure I close this window here. Let's just check our streams, see if our streams are running. Kick! How's Kick doing? Kick is kicking. And I'm going to say it again. Hello all. To Kick. And then we're going to go on YouTube. Whoops, we should save that. YouTube should be running now. YouTube is running. Excellent. That's YouTube on Diesel Funk. Then YouTube on Diesel Funk Dispatch should also be running. I have my windows open. Let's see here. I want to make sure I've got everything. Let me go back here. Diesel Funk here. We want to view our channel. Oh my goodness, my eyes are so bad. So very, very bad. And that's okay. And so I should be able to see my live chat going here. I should be able to see my live chat going because I'm testing a different setup today. Let's make sure we have Instagram on here. We do have Instagram on. What I want to be able to do is to see, let's just do a refresh here. Do a refresh. And we should have a Diesel Funk. Yeah, that's live. Oh, I got that. Yeah, there it is. Okay, good. So I can see what's going on there. We'll see. We'll check with LinkedIn. So Instagram is going good. Very happy about that. Kick is moving. Hey. Putting out typing hey, because, don't want to type on too long. Here. Facebook is not live at the moment. I do not know why it is not live. Let's go here. Let's see, connect video source. We should have that. Let me go back here to our window here. Do we have an issue with Facebook? Nope. Facebook Live should be rocking and rolling. Let's do a refresh on this right quick and see if yes, Facebook should be going live now. Hello, Facebook. How you guys doing? I'm Tim Fielder, live drawing with Tim Fielder, visual Afrofuturist, graphic novelist, based out of New York City, doing my thingy-lingy. Let's see if we can go our straight-in camera there. Yes, we're good there. We have a straight-on camera. Substack, don't touch Substack. And, of course, the one that gets away every time is one that gets away every time is TikTok. One day we're going to get TikTok working. By the way, just to let you guys know, as I told you before, I'm always trying to make micro adjustments to my broadcast. So we got this right here running. Let's see. I'm going to see one thing here. I'm actually talking with my regular headphones today. I'm hoping everything's coming through. I will talk with this. Let me see if I can do this right quick. Let's see if this will work here. Just going to change everything. We're going to go here to, we're going to go to MacBook Pro speakers. Okay, we should be good. Hopefully, we will be good. Let me check here. Yes, the audio seems to be going well there. And that's due to this microphone here. So I got my blue and my reds and all my different colors coordinated. In addition to that, I have the micro improvement I've gotten a KVM switch. I told you guys I was going to be getting a KVM switch. And a KVM switch, as you look here, I should be able to accept 2 HDMI signals. And with that 2 HDMI signals, I should be able to run my PC from my Cintiq with hopefully, okay. So we are, let's see here. Okay, all right. I forgot it was attached. All right, let's see here. We're going to go here. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're back. Hey, that was intentional. We should be able to run, we will be able to, with this device, be able to run the PC and the Mac off of this KVM switch. So when I'm broadcasting, I should be able to swap back and forth because I'm going to be using 3D. I may actually, in fact, start to broadcast from the PC for TikTok since TikTok does okay with the PC. I'll just have to maybe set up a separate camera that will be able to get me here. But that's where I am. And I'm moving along pretty good. I like it. Like I said, making incremental changes. YouTube seems to be going. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4 screens going. I'll type you through that. We'll go. That's 1 screen there. That's 1 screen. That's 2 screens. That's 3 screens. And my iPad up here, which you guys can't see, that allows me to keep a track on what's happening with the live chat through YouTube. Okay, so we're rocking, rolling. I'm Tim Fielder, visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist, known for this book here, Infinite and Afrofuturist Tale, from HarperCollins Amistad. Maddie's Rocket, endorsed by Steph Curry, working presently on book 2. And The Graphic History of Hip Hop, a book written with my writing partner, Dr. Walter David Grayson, now based in the frigid state of Minnesota, along with our managing partner, Christina Hungsbrook Lamartina. Don't worry, Joe Smith. I know you think I'm a piece of crap, but I'm going to get you your stuff. I know I got to turn it in. I know you say, Tim, you keep saying that, but everybody wants their stuff, including you. I'm going to get it to you. All right. As I said, I would keep talking about it. Hybrid. Hybrid is a book that I added my name to by Jamie Mustard and Francesca Filomena from, name of the company again, oh my God, my eyesight is so bad. Street Noise Books, based out of Brooklyn, New York. Great book, following in the fully rendered tradition of Infinitum. Very, very proud of these folks. Beautiful looking book. And they have the flaps that are seen after, that love that format. In fact, the first book I ever published was this book here, Death Comes in Force, back in 1994, 31 years ago, just before my daughter was born. And this book has flaps on it as well. See? And that book turns into an extra wide, long painting. Right? So that's what that is. Death Comes in Force. Eventually, I'm going to redo Death Comes in Force so that it can be, oh my God, it can be republished. Now, this was a cover I signed. You'll notice here back then, my pen name was Rasan. So I did that back in 1994. That's back in the day, boy. Let me tell you. Back in the day, 100 pounds lighter with hair. Hey, what do you want? Anyway, here we go. We are now been talking a little bit. It's time to get to work. Again, as yesterday, we started off with a little Hi John Conquer to get the episode edited for tomorrow. In this particular case, I'm probably going to be working on multiple episodes. We're going to work on a little comment because I'm trying to get the comment done in the next few days. Also, I was talking to my good friend Julian Chambliss today of Michigan State University. And I love Julian. Julian's such a good guy. He's my Mr. Spock. I go to him sometimes when I want clear-headed, unemotional. Well, he's emotional, but not that emotional. Unemotional feedback. And we were talking about my objectives over the next several months. And I guess I should talk about that a little bit here. So I have multiple projects I'm going on. Let's go here to, okay, we're good there. And we're good there. And we're good there. It's so nice to be good. All right, we're going to open up a little, and I got my screen set up so that they can be, moving around there. We're again on our desktop. I might change my main screen so you guys can maybe see a little bit more on the regular desktop stuff. But, we'll work that out. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go here to Safari. I'm going to open up Safari. And I think what I'm going to do is move this around to here. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, now I've been doing some pretty impressive things I like. I have made you might say, okay, why is he putting this screen here? What is the purpose of doing this? Well, one of the things I'm going to be doing is this Comatics format. What is Comatics? I say it every day and I'll keep repeating it. Comatics, an animatic, is a middle ground between a storyboard and an animation. They create animatics so that they can take storyboard images, and those storyboard images will be sequenced, sometimes with temporary music, not motion, even though with the what do they call them, previs stuff that was pioneered during the Star Wars movies, they will have some limited motion. I know some of the Marvel MCU films use previs. Those previs can be done with drawings, it can be done with Elements 3D. And what they do is to get things like timing. I'm not trying to do a previs. I have no interest in doing previs. What I'm doing is getting timing done with comics. Right? Revealing the elements of comics, the word captions, the word balloons, the thought balloons, right? The images with music. I'm not doing spoken dialogue right now because a comic, you read a comic, right? But I think to hear the music along with it would be pretty good. So an animatic is a cross between a storyboard and animation. A motion comic, which is a format that's not as heavily used anymore, understandably so, because that is a middle ground between a comic and an animation. So what ends up happening, I've done motion comics myself before, what ends up happening is you're trying to animate comic panels, which is interesting because you would think, well, it's a comic panel, you should be able to animate that. The problem with that is that it oftentimes drawings done in comics are not necessarily suitable for animation. In the previous thing, with AI, you never know. I saw a piece today. Damn, I guess I'll go to it. I saw a piece today on the Alex Raymond Arts Group. The Art of Alex Raymond. Let me see if I can log out here and go to the Tim Fielder site here. I'm going to go to the Art of Alex Raymond thing. Art of Alex Raymond. Let's go here. I'm sorry, I am not the greatest spell person. There it is, the Art of Alex Raymond. And look at this particular thing here. Look at this. So this guy took this particular image of Alex Raymond's work. This is old work. And Alex Raymond, the only person who I would consider equal in terms of the absolute just beauty of his work. And keep in mind, there are different types of work out there. Let me make sure I refresh this here. I refresh this stuff. Sometimes my updates are a little bit lower. Let's go here. Yeah, okay, we're good there. We're good. Now, so Alex Raymond is awesome, right? And the only person that I would say who is comparable to Alex Raymond is like Alex Ross. Neil Adams was, of course, in the same vein. These are people who drew really realistically, they use a lot of reference in their work. But Alex Raymond, he did Flash Gordon. I mean, geez. You know, Rip Kirby, all that type of stuff. And I love Alex Raymond stuff because Alex Raymond, specifically the work he did on Flash Gordon, along with Burn Hogarth's Tarzan, are heavy, heavy influences on the High John project I'm working. Because you never see people of color, ever. So I said, I'm going to put some people of color in my book. But I wanted to fall in that similar vein as this. Because my parents were born in the 1930s. My dad was born in 1934. My mom was born in 1938. And they never saw themselves in this kind of high fantasy stuff, right? Maddie's Rocket follows the same vibe. And I wanted to be able to do this so that I could kind of sort of get what was happening, get that vibe, to show them, you know. But Maddie's Rocket, that's for the sisters. That's for the ladies out there. That's for y'all. But there ain't, you know, I didn't do that for the brothers, for the men, right? I want to do something that's kind of had the macho a little bit happening, right? I know machos got us in trouble, but I want to do a little bit. Can't brothers have something too? So I said, I'm a High Johns for the brothers. That's who that's for, right? But anyway, enough of that getting distracted here. I'm going to take it down here. Check this out. So that's the drawing. Isn't that incredible? Look at this. So you got a drawing there, right? That's from Rip Kirby, I believe. Watch this. Now, I'm going to say this. The guy who posted this, they lit his ass up. They lit him up. They're like, oh, how could you do it? AI is the end of the world. And you know what? Maybe it is. But there's no putting that back in the bottle. I would love to see Alex Raymond's work animated. Right? Do I think a company is going to pay? See, this is the other thing. Is it technically possible for a company to take Flash Gordon and animate it? Yes. Technically, they can hire the 600 animators to do hand-drawn animation, whether they're using computer or paper, whatever. They could do it. Sure, they could. Are they going to do it? No, they're not going to do that. And whichever company, I don't know if it's King Features, whoever it is that owns Flash Gordon, they're not going to pay for people to make Flash Gordon into a movie. I mean, heck, Star Wars started because George Lucas tried to do Flash Gordon, couldn't get the rights, so he made up his own thing. Good for him, right? Made my career. But this technology allows for the entity that controls Flash Gordon to literally take that artwork, if they have rights to it, and that's the ethical issue, and animate it. Why would you not do that? Why would you not do that? I am interested in doing that. I'm interested in seeing that. Do I think there are going to be some people who are going to lose their minds over this technology? Absolutely. I'm not one of them. I think it's great. All right. Just wanted to say that little bit here. Who is just talking to me here? Oh, it's Karen sending me another post. Thank you, Karen. Love you dearly. Let's see here. Oh, my good friend Basel Reed, we call him Janoy, is in Jamaica. I hope he's doing okay. All right, let's go here. All right, so High John, the latest episode went live today. Very happy with the way High John is going. Let's make sure. I'm also getting ready. So you might say, well, okay, what's up with this Comatics? Comatics is the middle ground between a comic and an animatic, where I'm telling a comic story utilizing timing and, where applicable, music or sound. I'm not using sound in terms of sound effects, but I'm using music, right? And so I have to put the music together. So I've already started working with High John in that regard, and I'm going to very soon be mapping or transferring Maddie's Rocket over to that format, because the idea is I want to be able to produce something that people can get for free. They're on that train in the morning, they're in their car, they're looking at their phone, And this stuff is just going through the feed, right? Why should I expect readers to come to me? I should go to them. If this were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, yes, I have to encourage people to get up to come to a comic book store. I have to encourage them to get up, go to a theater. That's not the world we're in anymore. The world we're in now is all of their content is online. And the readers, the consumers, are just sitting there like buffalo. They're just sitting there waiting for stuff to appear through their feed. If you get organic reach, great. If you pay for the reach, even better. If you do a fusion, a hybrid between the two, hybrid, right? Between the two, even better, right? So I believe that Comatics is a forum, is a format, is a medium that maybe, if done well, can have something to it. Why? People read their comics on the desktop, on their phone. But they can also accept that in comics format. You see variants of what I would call a Comatic, where people take already published work and they put it online. They have the screen scroll by. It's not like what I'm doing is completely new. I just call it a Comatic, right? Because it has its own music going with it, and it's my story. And Comatic sound kind of cool. All right. You might ask, well, okay, where is he going with this? I'm doing the music of Maddie's Rock, the theme song. And I've had this song in my head for 10 years. Sounds horrible. Dead. I sound like I'm dead. But it took that, and then it took that really horrible song out of tune, and it did this. All right, so that's the early part of it, right? But what I want is I want the music to sound like this. All right, that's enough of that. So what you guys are hearing here there is the theme song for Maddie's Rocket that I'm putting together. Now, you might say, wow, why does this stuff sound like so traditional orchestral? Because I want it to be of the time. I cannot stand, with Sinners being the possible exception, I cannot stand to see period movies with hip-hop in it. What is the point? It completely takes me out of the story. Maddie's Rocket takes place between the 1920s and the 1960s. Over that period of time, it's told almost completely in flashback, right? Hi John is told in the 1800s. I do not want hip-hop in that soundtrack. I don't mind stretching the rhythms a little bit, right? So where it might be something a little, slightly more contemporary, say the 1920s for Hi John, right? I don't mind that. But the arrangement should be orchestral. That's the way I rock with it. I'm not trying to do something. I'm not trying to do the wrong thing here. Anyway, so this is where we're going. I'm having fun here doing all this stuff. I'll say this stuff and we'll start getting to the drawing. Now, I wanted to play that for you guys here. So, hi, John. Okay, here we go. You all remember I did this yesterday. This was fun to do. Again, for you guys that don't know, I utilize all forms of technology. I do digital illustration. Here's my work from the Comet here. You can see I use digital illustration. You can see it there. I paint and illustrate in the computer, but I also use AI to help with rendering and coloring. I also use Photoshop when it comes to automated coloring with things like BPelt. My music is, I'm not a musician, as you guys could hear. My voice sounds like dying babies. More than one, I like babies plural. So what I do is, let me make sure I've got this going right here. Yes. So what I do is I try to use AI as a tool, right? I'm not interested in having AI do all the work for me. Why would I do that? What I'm interested in doing is using it as a tool to innovate. If there are those who don't like what I'm doing, I can completely understand that. Feel free to drop. Feel free to go your own way. Hello! Oh my God, Glenn, how you doing, man? That's one of my, I taught for a long time. I have students, I'm sitting here, he's not a kid anymore. This is a guy, a grown man, probably got kids. I don't know. Good to see you. Yes, Glenn, one of the greatest alternative cartoonists, black alternative cartoonists that has ever lived. Doing it back in the 80s before it was fancy and sexy. He was fancy and sexy back then. I'm sure he's fancy and sexy now. But good to see you, man. Good to see you. Please post a link to your work in my comments. If you go, hey, man, what's up? Post a link to your work, man, so I can show people on my stream today. I would encourage everyone, we have those, and I never told him this. We have those people who are ahead of their time. It sucks to be ahead of the time. Trust me, I know, right? But there are those artists, they're so far ahead and they have to deal with this, being subject to what's happening in society, whether or not their work would be accepted in society. And Glenn went overseas. He went to Europe to do his thing. But this guy's work almost makes me emotional here. This guy's work, and he was following his heart. You dig what I'm saying? The work he was doing was so cutting edge that I don't know if the mainstream industry in the States was ready for what he was doing. I don't know how things went for him overseas, but I believe that I would hope that all of that work he did could be re-released online in this format, not Comatics, but just release it as still. And it's probably there. It's probably online. If you got it, please, Glenn, please post it so I can share the link with everybody. But yeah, you know, what can I say? What can I say? The E.S. Glenn is dope cartoonist, amazing clean art style. He ain't trying to make everything look really warped and uber realistic like I do. You're constantly screwing up. But man, I love your work. I always have. I always thought you were cutting edge and lit a bit of fire under my butt when I first met him, because I'm like, who's this young buck? Who do you think he is? Right? But you know, when you see most cutting edge, what can I tell you? Also, I will take a moment. I won't show. Yes, please do. I saw, you know, I'm not going to show pages, and I hope he doesn't mind me talking about Sean Martin, bro. Woo, God. I saw pages from the Heavy. He's on the, I'm going to say this, Sean. I know you only got 12 pages going. I know that's terrible. You probably don't want me to let everybody know, but I'm doing it so if you hear this, you will be pressured to finish, because that book's going to save your life. The Heavy, guys, what can I tell you? It's truly a masterpiece. It's the sum total. You know, you hear the phrase, our lives are the sum total of the choices that we make. As an artist, your art style is the choice of the sum experiences and all that. Sean Martin, bro, in my opinion, has created the greatest work of his career. I believe that. I believe when this book, I'm going to have to make sure my book's not at the same time. Right? Because I don't want, you know, everybody's going to lose. Anyway, so the point is, it's great stuff. I think everyone should take a look at The Heavy when it comes out through Abrams Comics Art. John Jennings got a good one on his hands. I know it took a while for it to happen, but it's because that type of work is not hard. I mean, that type of work is hard to do. That's not easy to do. Particularly when he's the one originating the story. He's the one originating the art. You know, he didn't, no one was doing that for him. He had to do that for himself. And for a person like that who spent their career, in my opinion, working in the commercial space, doing Batman, doing Thieves, all those type of things, to then go out on their own and to try to tell a story that's every bit as dominant in the form. See, that's the catch. Not just doing it because, oh, this is a job, to move the form ahead. That's when it's hard to do that. It's hard to innovate. And I think The Heavy is that project. And I would encourage everyone, once The Heavy is out, you're going to see, I think that thing is going to critically, I can't speak about what it's going to do commercially, but critically, I think it's going to absolutely let people already know who Sean is, but they're going to know. They're going to know. And I believe The Heavy has the ability to transcend the comics medium and go into other mediums. But we're going to see how all that plays out. You know, you don't have any control of how the market responds. But I think the industry will respond in ways that are absolutely incredible. Anyway, enough of that. Talking about other people. Glenn, hello, Aron Dikari. How you doing? Pleasure to see you there. I'm Tim Field, the visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist, sitting here drawing, getting ready to do my thing. I got to finish the next episode of Hi John, Conqueror. And I've been working on here. So we got to quiet down these little holes here. We're going to do that. Let's go. Here we go. We're zooming in. And we're now going to go here. Yeah, I think, you know what? I'm going to move this over to here. Yep, nope. We're going to go, no. I want to move that over there. But you know what? What the hell? Just pay attention to what you're doing. That's what you should do. Okay, so we got that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look here. We're going to start working a little bit. All right, now let's go through this. This here These are, okay, that's everything here. That's good. We got our backgrounds and all our sky stuff happening. What we want to do now is begin. Okay, that's that guy there. This is this guy here. Yes. Yuppity, yuppity, yup. Now we're going to scroll up here. Now that's that one there. That's pretty good. I like that. All right. Okay, that's the line artwork. We don't need that anymore. We had that one there. Let's do this. Yep, we didn't like that one. We didn't like that one. We like this one. That's pretty good. I'm going to turn this one off. Let me do one other thing here. I want to go here. Yeah, that one was interesting, but didn't work. That one's interesting. That didn't work. All right, this right here is the kind of a white kind of, because we had to fix the cloak here, because obviously I'm drawing Klansmen. Right? Klansmen, they wear white, baby. They wear white. So I'm going to go here. Now we're going to turn. There we go. All right, now why did I do that? I did that because I wanted it to blend with the cloaks, the other cloaks. But right now you can see it has a yellow overcast. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Command U. All right, and we see what's happening. We're going to move that over there so you guys can see it. And what we're going to do here is we're going to, by eye, desaturate this. See how that happens? See that desaturation? Now that kind of sort of fits. That kind of sort of fits. So we're going to go in here. And we're going to take a little brush here. This time what we'll do is we'll take a little blend. Right? And by the way, we are not touching the line artwork. This is still a comic. I'm not trying to do infinitum where everything's going to be so heavily rendered. I'm just trying to keep it light. See? There we go. See? Keep it light, baby. Keep it light. No worries. All good. All good. See how that looks there? See? See? Bit fun, light. Fun and light, man. Fun and freaking light. There we go. Go here. Let's move that over there. See? Now, my daughter has been getting on me, Dad, why do you keep doing tutorials? No one's going to sit up and watch you do tutorials. This is true. I know that is true. But what else am I going to do? You guys going to hear me talk about nonsense the whole time? So I decided, let me switch it up. Oh, man, look at that. I just messed that up. It's okay there. Go here. Okay, I like that. I like that. There we go. See? And I'm just giving them, smoothing those colors out. Smoothing those colors out, man. Smoothing them out. Because light is coming from on top. And it is going down like so. Right? So I'm going to finish the artwork for this. It is now 5:49. I'm going to go as long as I can. I generally go between 2 to 4 hours. I know not everybody's going to stick with me on that. And nor should you have to. But just know that that's what I'm going to do. Okay, great. Great. All right, I can live with that. I can live with that. But see what's happening here with this guy's shoulder here? I think I need to go in here and add a little. Let's take this here. Yeah, we'll go here. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm now going to take this airbrush here. And now watch what I'm going to do. See? And I can just go through here and just add some stuff. Again, this render comes from Viscom, right? And what it's allowing me to have the ability to do is to automate my coloring, but I still have to go in and tweak things. That's the way this stuff works. And I would prefer that, because what I don't want to do is have it do the work for me. But I do want it to absolutely 1,000% reduce the effort, so I'm not freaking dead, if you don't mind. If someone else wants to stick with that the old way, I say go for it. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. So I'm going here. I'm taking an airbrush because I do want the soft edge, and I do want that kind of darker tone to continue to keep that. There. There we go. There we go. Because, you know, those Klansmen, they got to be in their white cloaks, man. Got to show them for what they are. All right, now, here is the moment of truth. We're going to take an airbrush here. We're going to take an eraser. And I'm going to try it on this. Let's go here. Let's do this. Oh, no, wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong one. We're going to go here. And what we're going to do is we're going to erase just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. See? Yeah. See? Get those eyes happening there. Because what I want to be able to demonstrate here, because I have the ability to tweak things here, right? And what I want to do here is show that underneath all of that madness are human beings, perhaps warped, but I want to be able to show them as who they are, humans. Just crazy white dudes in cloaks. All right, there we go. Yep. See how that changes things? All of a sudden it puts a human face on them. That is the objective. Let's see here. What's going on? Oh, that is because there is a... Okay, there we go. All right, I think our chats are going good here. Let's go here a little bit more. Let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. We got that. Facebook. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to do. Doggone it. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back here. I'm sorry for those folks here. I thought I had shared it there. I got a lot. It's difficult when you're trying to manage all this stuff on your own. But let's see here. We're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to share this. And this is the one thing that's kind of weird. Cross-post to more pages. See, I want to cross-post. I want to send this thing here. Let's edit the post details. Nope, we don't want to edit the post details. We want to go here. We're going to see if we can cross-post to more pages. And go here. We don't want to turn off that. Let's see here. Okay, we're not going to worry about that for right now. I know you guys wondering what in the world is it looking at. I have multiple screens, and I'm finding out as I'm mirroring screens, I'm actually wasting a screen. So I now have, each screen is different, although I'm able to share palettes. The Mac is good like that. I don't know what the PC does, but hey, that's not my concern now. All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to go here. We're going to go to our desktop here. And we're going to copy, paste this. We're going to share this. We're going to copy the link. We're going to go here to Tim Fielder, and I'm sure it's not on there. I'm sure it's not. It never is, man. It never is. Okay. Yep, it is not. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go Command V. And we're going to go right there. Okay, so that is now, we're going to post that. So I'm so sorry, guys, on the Tim Fielder site, Facebook page. I am posting to Tim Fielder from the Diesel Funk page. I'm going to see here. I don't know who that is. A lot of people are. I have to say the difference between doing my regular Diesel Funk dispatch, where I have the story. I was going to be doing one on Caleb Ralston, which I've gone live. Maybe I'll do it before the week is out. But I have to say the response to Hi John is different than any other social media format that I've done. I like doing the live streams because the live streams keep me accountable. You guys see me working. For the folks that are insane enough to to come in, what ends up happening is you see how the sausage is made, and we all want people to see how the sausage is made. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Instagram, and I'm going to move this back over here to this page. Yep, right there. Okay, so I can see that. I can see my stream going. Okay, good. We have this going here. By the way, I was speaking with my brother, Boston Fielder, who did my theme song for I guess it's my theme song. It's called Banga is what it's called, that song. And it is banging. It always has been banging. And one of the things I wanted to do was let you guys know, he's been sending me some music. This guy's one of the greatest musicians in the world. Fantastic voice, fantastic uh, composer. I won't go into what he's doing, uh, but he has sent me some music that just absolutely brought tears to my eyes. Incredible stuff. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going to now go back. We're going to minimize this. Gonna go back to. I don't mind having the color drawn out of their faces. I think that's important to be able to showcase and to show. I think it's important to be able to showcase and show that. All right, so we're gonna go here. We're good here. I kind of like that eye. You can see the eyes. You can see its guides underneath there. Now I might add skin color. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see how I'm feeling. See, all that stuff was drawn. There we go. Ha ha ha. See, that makes a human element. We don't want them to be able to hide behind their cloaks. Okay, now we want to go back here a little bit. Yep, got that. And we're going to take a little bit of this right here. And we're going to... Actually, I'm going to keep that black glove on there. What am I doing? We're going to keep that black glove. All right, that's pretty good. I like that. I like the way that looks. That is acceptable. Let me just take the one thing here. Let me just blend a little bit there. Just so that hard line there is not as... So I can live with that. I can live with that. Let me make sure I do one more thing. Let's do... Whoops. Command U. We're going to desaturate that a little bit more. Okay. That was good. I can live with that. That is all right. That is okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we got all these Klansmen here. And again, you might guys like, well, what the hell is he doing here? This is what I'm doing. I'm taking my drawing. That's my drawing. And I'm using the software to effectively add rendering to the drawing. But whenever I do that, always know it's never enough. I have to go in Paint. I got to adjust stuff. Certain things I keep, certain things I leave, things I have to move around. It's all of that type of stuff. That's the way this process works. And it's a very, very powerful process. And it's something that I would encourage any analog artist to use if they dare to. It is something that I think they might use. Okay, enough of that. So what I'm going to do here, let's see how, interesting. Okay, no worries. We go back here now. That's pretty good. Yep. There we go. We got that. See our horse back there. And now here's our main character, Hi-Jon, coming out of the darkness. And what we're going to do here now is we're going to take, all right, that's the line work there. Now what we want to do is find, okay, so we got all that. That's good. And what we want to do here, that's the horse and buggy. We got all that happening. There we go. Yep. So here's what we're going to do. So we see what's happening here. We see here that the white behind there is good. So I want to try one thing here. We're going to take an eraser here. And we're going to see what happens if we erase behind. Okay, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. All good. So now we know we have to go back here. And we're going to take a color sample here. Okay, good. And now we're going to paint here. See, look. All right, so that character is now part of that. So we're going to go here, put a little bit there. I want to go here a little bit darker. There we go. See? So now that character is now superimposed into our image. And I think we are ready to rocketh and rolleth with that. All righty. Good. All righty. I feel good about that. I feel good about everything. All right, now let's get back to this. Get back to some painting. Uh, it's a little bit off, but that's okay. Why? Because what that does, that adds a little texture. See, you'll notice here the line work is very, very loose because I'm working so large and it's just adding this stuff in, but it's going to be reduced down to very small. So all of a sudden, all those loose lines tighten up. That's part of what it does there. So we got that. I like the way that's looking. I think, though, I need to grab some of the darker tones here. Let's do this. Nope. Let's go here, just like that. Yep, there we go. But we want that to be a little green there. Kind of dark. Yeah, there we go. See? So that fits him off into the shot there a little bit better. That's pretty good. I like that. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. All right, so the part where he's there, that's good there. We want to go right here. No, here. There we go. Now, I like that, but if you look there, that background there, that looks really, really good. See that? See what's happening with that background? But that background is so stark, it's calling attention. It's not allowing the foreground to stand out as much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to reduce that down a little bit. See? See what that does? See, watch this. If it's like that, that drawing's really there. But if I pull back, see? Ha! I love it. I love it. So there we go. We got it. I think that image there is mostly done. However, I'm going to do one last thing here. We're going to go here to this layer here. I'm going to add a layer. And we're going to take a little white, just a little white here. Just a little white, a little off-white there. There we go. There we go. And I think I'll take a pen here. This, see how that is? But you'll notice what's happening is it's appearing a little bit transparent. And I'll figure out what I'm going to do here. But what I'm going to do now is this. See how I'm painting on this? See what's happening? So I'm able to add highlights to make this stuff stand out a little bit more. See? So now with that very, I don't know why I did the very. What it's doing here is it's adding just a little bit of outline there. See? And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not looking for over-rendered here. What I'm looking for is for the form and the shape to be somewhat refined. See? I'm using this technology as a tool. You see what that does? Now let me turn this off and you'll see what happens. See? That's how it makes that pop up there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. Now, I could do the same thing to these guys. Let's see what happens if I add that to these dudes. Do I want that? No, they don't deserve it. But you know what I am going to do? I'm going to do this. See? Yes. Because it's like a little bit of dusk just before it turns nightfall. So I can add that. So these are like little, just slight things here that I can add on here. And add those things, what it does, it gives the character just a little bit, see? Now, watch this. So in that particular case, we have this here. That's set to normal. But one of the things I think I want to do here, and I might be able, let's see, what is this? Yep, okay, that's a different one there. Let me make sure I got that right. Okay, I think we're good there. But let's see here. We go here. That's all right. That's all of that stuff. Ah, I see. I see what's happening. Let's see here. Let's go here. That's this one. Ah, there we go. We got that one right there. See what's happening. Now, I am curious, however, if I zoom out on this, what happens if I turn that glare off? That's kind of interesting. But I think I'm going to stick with that. I want that kind of slight, the sun is falling, haze. That looks pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot. And I would call that image there mostly done. I still have to add the dialogue in it. But right now, we're just going with what we've got. Alrighty. Now, next up, I'm going to do this. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to drag this here. And then, of course, you know, you can't have any of this stuff without the Confederate flag, because that's what they carry. That's their symbol. Alrighty. Right, let's turn that on. Okay, there we go. Why did I choose to use this? I chose to use this because what I want to do is to not sugarcoat as best I can. I want to not sugarcoat what's going on. I want to be able to show that this horrible, horrible thing is happening, and that this character who's going through this suffering, through this process, this problem, is that's what's happening to him. He's being, you know, harassed, and out of the darkness comes this other guy. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our warp tool, see, and we could do it like this. Let me go down here, take that, there we go. I'm going to swoop this down here a little bit and swoop that up a little bit. There we go. Whoops, whoops, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to swoop that down because that light should show there. See that? See what's happening there? See how I'm doing that? Now, let's take this and make that stretch a little bit, warp a little bit. And we could even take this up there. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Let's move this up a little bit. See how I'm doing that? Yep. There we go. Alrighty. Move that up there a little bit. Move this over here a little bit. Yep. I like that. Now, watch what we're going to do. We're now going to move that to an overlay. Ah, see how that now fits into that shot? It brings it down. Brings it down. So now, I can take a lasso tool. And I can just go through here and just make that stuff fit there. Again, the objective is to innovate. Easier said than done, but is the objective nonetheless. All right, and go here. There we go. See? So I'm able to do that. I'm able to take these things. These are things that, you know, it's nothing remotely special about this technique other than it allows me. Now I could erase this, but in this case here, I'm just going to warp this into the drawing. See? See what it does? And because it's interacting with the blending channels on this, hey, it works pretty good. There you go. All right, now, one last thing I think I want to do to this that needs to be done. Even though I wasn't going to do it, I think it needs to be done now. All right, I didn't name my layers, which is something I always told my students. Always name your layers. Always name your layers. I didn't do that this time, okay? I did not do that. Forgive me. All right, let's go here. This is that layer. Oh, is that it? Yes. That is it there. We got this here. There we is. There we go. I was going to say there we is. There is not where we is. All right, we're going to go here. Now, let's check here. What is that? Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so now the next thing I want to do is I like the way that looks there. That's pretty dadgum good. I like that. And I like this partial grass. So that was something that was added. It's pulling from the drawing and adding render and texture there. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now let's see how we're gonna do this. How we're gonna do this. We got our stuff is here. We got that. That's good. The only thing I think that's needed here, and because I can do it, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna add a little black, and this is just something I'm doing. All right, I wanted to put a shadow there, and I kind of like that shadow. That's pretty good. Let me just drop it down a little bit. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. All right, so look, I like the shadow. Hey, I thought I wasn't gonna like the shadow. I like the shadow. What do you want? All right. Hello, Aquaventa Venatus. How you doing for showing up today? I appreciate it. All right, back here. Now, here's the moment of truth. Woo, let's see here. We got that happening. That's the whole thing happening. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop goofing around here. And I'm going to go to this layer here. There we go. That's all the stuff in there. Okay, that's good. Turn that back on. We're going to go here. I'm going to close this up here. Now, what's that? Yep, these are things that come from other layers. So we're just worried about this layer here, the color, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my rectangular tool here, selection tool, and with my bad eyesight, yes, I know I haven't paid for my reading glasses. Hang on. Right there, Command Shift I and backspace. Yes, we now have a completed. Whoops. That went a little bit too far. It was close, but well, hang on. Backspace. Okay, so you see what's happening there? Let me show you what's happening here. Here, see that? That's actually cutting off a little bit too much for my taste. That's cutting off a little bit too much for my taste. But what I'm going to do here, because the reason why that's getting cut off like that is because I'm selecting multiple layers. I see what's happening. I see what's happening. All right, let's go. Let's see, how should we do this? I'm sitting here thinking that needs to be a little bit bigger. Command D. Let's try again. Let's go all the way to the outside of that, to the farthest parts of that. I'm going to look at it visually so we can reduce the amount of disruption to that image. We're going to go to the edge. All right. Let's go here, Command Shift I and backspace again. All right, that I can live with. I can live with that. All right, now, flag, gone. All righty. That is done. This is done. That's done. That's the image. Now, check it out. You might say, okay, Tim, how are you doing all this stuff? You're doing all this stuff. You put it in there. Watch me go to the time lapse. I'm going to export the time lapse. And my time lapse looks like this. And this is all the stuff that's going on here. But all we want to do is just capture the parts that are happening here. See the end part? That's what we're doing. Stuff from yesterday is right there. So I only need to keep that part there and then just stretch that out. That's one of the advantages of working on a full page, of a double page spread. Now I have, for the comment, I have quad setup. And the quad setup is going to be very interesting because what the quad setup will do is allow me to work on 4 pages at one time as opposed to two. Now, let me say, working on 2 pages at the same time, that's pretty dope. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's dope. It is dope. It is dope. It's dope. What do you want me to tell you? All right? Now, here we go. We're going to try it one more time. This time, though, what we're going to do, we're going to take this here. I'm going to do Command C, Command V. And I'm going to move that up to there. Now, wow, that looks really good. Look at that. Look at that. If it were a little bit later at night, I would do that. But that's not what I want. That looks good, though. I love playing with blending channels because you never know what you're going to get. There we go. So this is what we're doing. All right? And the reason why we're doing this here is because I want to keep the background and foregrounds consistent. Right? So you can see here the flag here is a little bit, well, to your screen, that would be a little bit that way. Right? I guess. Sort of like that. Oh. And then the other one is this. Like that. Right? But I want to be able to keep the foreground and the background. Right? So here's where the moment of truth comes. So, meaning as I'm working on this, what I'm actually physically doing is doing 2 images at the same time. Right? And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I've just laid the background into the shot. I want to keep the background from the opening shot of this 2-page sequence and keep it for the last shot of this 2-page sequence. That's what I want to be able to do. But I have all this pretty dope. Look at that. Look at this stuff here. Isn't that great? It's added all this tone and texture to my weird kind of white guy drawings, right? And it's done something pretty good there that I think that works. Hold on, I just got in a noticed here. Okay, good. Joe Schmidt, I know you think I'm a complete flake. I'm only a partial flake. I will admit that. But I'm working on it. Ease up. I'm getting there. All right, now. I'm going to minimize this here because that does not need to be open. Let me check with my streams here to make sure my streams are going okay. I've already made dinner here. So, that's good. What is that? You know, Substack is an interesting site. There are a lot of comics that are going now in Substack. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. But I noticed a lot of, hello, I believe that's Earl Douglas from the Black Rock Coalition. Could be wrong. E. Douglas, 528. How you doing? Good to see you. But what I'm doing, Jules Verne took place in the 1800s, right? War of the Worlds, and the comic took place in the early 1900s, 1920s, right? So the comic was published in the 1920s. Obviously, it was done prior to that. So it was done in the 1910s, right? That's when Du Bois wrote this story. So what I want to be able to do is to place this speculative fiction within a time. And the way to sell it is to make sure as best I can. Look, I'm not a scholar, I'm not an academic. I was speaking with Tiffany Barber, the amazing Tiffany Barber today. And I was telling her about what I was doing. I hope we can do something very soon. But the objective with this is to be able to tell a story that is of the time and the period that the author who wrote it meant it to be. But in order, hello, I am the leopard. How you doing? What's happening there? So the objective is to be able to tell a story that is of the time and period that the author intended for it to be. That's one. Two, I want to be able to be authentic, as authentic as I can. So that's why, make sure you get the right kind of a Confederate flag, making sure that horse, what should I have, an ornate wagon in this? No, these are redneck hicks. So they probably just got a regular wooden wagon, because this story here is, I'm from Mississippi, so more than likely, even though I don't actually name it, in my head, this takes place in a field in Mississippi. right? Because High-John the Conqueror, High-John the Conqueror, as Zora Neale Hurston in her book, is, you know, he was of that. He was a black man who was Congolese, a spirit, a deity who could kind of fuse in and move from one plantation to the next as a trickster. And he's appeared in different forms, but that's what I wanted to do. But fusing it with, you know, the works of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Robert E. Howard, Martin Delaney, a little Zora Neale in there. But to do it, I wanted, hey, this is action adventure. This is for the brothers. Okay? That's what it is, for the brothers. So I'm just letting you know. All right. Now, so we got this here. So now what we got to do, okay, so there's the old background, the background from the other thing. We got it. Now what I want to do is I want to begin to erase the background from there, but I only want to keep the parts that are most important. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate this because I don't want to screw up. If I screw up, I want to be, hey, wow, that looks great. Doesn't that look great? Amazing what this stuff can do to add to, look at that. Look at, isn't that, let's zoom in here. Look at that. These are my drawings, and it's adding all this photoreal phenomena. Let me state for the record, I have zero interest in my work looking like somebody else. I don't want my work to look like anybody else's work. I have no, and let me say this, one of the greatest artists who's ever lived is Michael Whelan. Now, he'll probably never see this, but one of the greatest artists who's ever lived is Michael Whelan. Drew Struzan, God rest his soul, just passed away. Fantastic artist, changed culture. Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars. Back to the Future wouldn't be Back to the Future without Drew Struzan. Michael Whelan is just as important an illustrator. He is. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and try to pretend as if my work is not influenced by my covers are subpar paintings done in the style of Michael Whelan, Jim Steranko, and God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. The artist who painted Doc Savage, the Doc Savage, and the West, he became a Western. I'm embarrassed because, you know, I should remember his name. Forgive me, I know. I'm getting old. I'm 59. I want to paint like those guys, right? So I try to paint in my own way like that. But when I'm using this technology, I'm trying to draw like Tim. But what I want to do is add photoreal phenomena to my drawings, which I will then go in and paint on top of that like I did in the video game industry. Let me explain to you what's happening. When you're looking at destroyed, demolished buildings in The Last of Us, you're not looking at straight 3D objects. You're looking at 3D models that are enhanced with photographic textures that are output with paintings and drawings on top. This is both in the conceptual design stage and in the finished rendering stage. That's what it is. This is simply matte painting. That's all it is. When you talk about the process of doing the work, it's matte painting. Okay? Now, so what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to turn that off because we want to keep one of those layers to ourselves there. And you'll notice here that some of the stuff, it kind of got kind of wonky. See? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here, and I'm now going to take an eraser. And the eraser this time will be a hard eraser, because what I want to be able to do is that. Meaning what I want to do is, as I turn this layer on here, see what's happening? What I'm doing okay, hang on one second. Am I screwing up here? Okay, yeah, that's let me turn this. I want to make sure I'm getting this right here, guys. Want to make sure I'm getting this right here. Hang on. Have I screwed up? Let's see here. Here. Okay, there are the guys there. There they are. Those are the guys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this because I can. I'm going to erase them here. Let's go through this here. We can go through here. We can even erase the grass off the land there. So I'm just going through here because I don't want the rendering there to show through that. But I do want to keep the rendering and lighting on the white guys here. Okay, so this is the technology. This allows me to work dramatically faster while keeping the integrity as best I can in my work. That is the objective of doing this. Is it perfect? Hell no. Does it allow me to get what I'm trying to get done? Hell yes. Here we go. All right. Boom. Bam, boom. Okay, great. Now we want to get right underneath here because see, this is the ground that's underneath that flag. See that? That's where we want, right there. Yep, pretty good. Oh, right. So we got this here. Go here, and it did take his head there, stretch that a little bit, but that's okay because we can erase that. See what's happening? So that's making this white background. And we have here the guy holding the bottle because obviously you got Klansmen there, they drink. So we're going to have him holding the bottle. There we go. There we go. Now we want to keep what's happening with the sabers here because main character's carrying sabers in the shot. Again, I encourage folks who watch this, if you don't want to receive spoilers for my work, then you don't have to necessarily watch it. It's okay if you don't. But I do it because, one, I like showing how the sausage is made. That's one. And two, I think it's cool to show how the sausage is made. There we go. There we go, man. And if anything, any other issues come through on this, guess what we'll do? We'll just put them back in. We'll paint them back in. That is the objective of this. It's like, it's not doing all the work for you, but it is dramatically increasing your fidelity, right? It's increasing your fidelity and allowing you to finish the work. An image like this would normally take 2 or 3 days to do, and once the tones are laid down, it might take 2 or 3 hours. But in this particular case here, since I'm doing basically 2 images at the same time, I've been online for how long? 1 hour and 19 minutes. So this is pretty substantial time savings for me. All right, we got this guy walking. He's coming out, you know, pretty badass here. Again, this is for the brothers. There we go. Pop that right there. Yep. Boom. Yep, I like that. Like that, man. I like that. I'm going to make his coat darker, but for right now, we're just good the way that is. Right there. Right here in the line artwork. Again, the line artwork is supposed to show this is a comic. I'm not doing a painting here. I have no interest in doing a painting. I have an interest in doing a comic. Graphic novel, if you will. Just so you guys who are questioning why am I doing this, I have to get my work done. That's one. Two, I'm a visual Afrofuturist. Enough of waiting 2 to 3 years between releases to get work done. What's that? Aren't y'all sick of that? Releases every 10 years? What's the point of waiting for that long? Can't we just come out with the work? So I can't judge anyone else, but I can judge myself that I don't want to be waiting so freaking long between releases because life is lifing, and I've got all this other stuff going on when there are people who are literally waiting on me to release the next segment of a freaking story. And this stuff is entertainment. Don't be confused. This stuff is entertainment. This stuff it's no different than watching, or at least the way I'm doing, it's no different than watching or reading a soap opera. Now I wanted to have it, if at best to have a specific type of societal effect, but have no illusion that I'm creating this work straight and specifically as a form of entertainment. That is what it is. I am keeping this as a form of entertainment. I'm doing it as a form of entertainment. I'm using every technological device that I can to do something that is interesting and hopefully a little bit dope. That's the objective. Is it going to be perfect? Hell no. Is it going to be done? Hopefully. Am I going to be alive when it's done? God, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice, guys? Wouldn't it be nice? Let me make sure this clean up here a little bit here. Little things here. This is the type of stuff you don't see when you are literally, painting it in, or painting it out in this case here. I'm doing this manually because it has to be done, man. I probably could have gone through some of my layers and just made a selection on stuff. But why do this when you can have fun and just paint it out? I don't mind losing this little time here, physically erasing, because it keeps the, what is my brother said, AI will fail because it was made by a human. I thought that was very interesting what he said. AI, the nature of AI, we may go away, but AI might even outlive us. But AI is going to go away because humans created it, because humans can create nothing that is permanent. It's not what we do. We do things and we destroy it, right? But our objective is to try to tell dope stories while we're in the process of doing it. That is the objective. All right. I sent out some notices today. So for you guys who are watching this, I would just encourage you to, let's leave this. I think I got that right. Yeah, that's on there. Yep. Let's go here and leave here. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to click here now. We're going to go back to Diesel Funk, my page here, because I think I need to see what's happening on the desktop. All right, that's loading in. Okay. All right, we're good there. No comments at the time. That's okay. I don't mind that. That is good. All right, and we're getting this down to a science. The only thing for me that I found very disappointing was the only thing I found disappointing was that TikTok. I really want to stream to TikTok, man. Why? Oh, why? Mel Studio. I'm streaming every day. Why can't I stream on a Mac to TikTok? It makes no sense. Will you please, please, please fix that? Fix it now so I can use your software. Do you mind? I use Mel Studio. I don't use OBS. I started using OBS, but I switched to Mel Studio. Why? It's easy. But man, would you please, 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 guys, get this software so this damn thing can run on a Mac. It already runs on a Mac, so it can't run TikTok? What is that about? I'm going to get on their Discord and complain. I normally never complain about software. You know, I just use it as best I can. But this right here has gotten a little frustrating because this whole TikTok thing has gone on for some time. And I'm getting a little frustrated on this. You'll notice here, Hi John, who's a dark complexion man, is light colored here. And that's because AI software tends to have some problems when it comes to ethnicities. But that's okay. That's okay because we're gonna put on some comic brown. We're gonna put on some comic brown on Hi John to make him the right color. So I don't mind that. The most important thing for me with this right here was that his suit be toned close to correct. All right, I think we have done, well, let me go through here. I'm gonna go through here. Yep, see how I'm doing that? I want to keep that light on there. I think that light on there is a good thing on the horse. No need, if it adds tone and atmosphere to the drawing, that's one of the reasons why I love working with blending channels in Clip Studio Paint and Photoshop. Is because what it does is it adds, it allows you to think like a cinematographer, not in just the drawing and compositions, but also in the it allows you to work as a cinematographer in terms of the color grading. Yes, I said color grading, something that colorists who are in the film industry have to do. It allows me to add that type of thing. Subtle effects that are very, very difficult to get and time consuming to get in regular analog painting. This allows you to do it much more quickly. Okay, there we go. All right, we've done pretty good here. I'm liking that. That's why I switched my eraser from soft to hard brush, because I want to make sure that when I'm erasing, I'm getting as much of the color and that layer as possible. And then once I do that, I will actually have done. You know, my wife is going to be out late tonight. She's doing her Halloween class, and then she's got to play her play. The Popes of Farragut Street opens, I believe, on November, in early November. I'll get the exact date from you. Maybe she'll call in when she finishes. And now we'll do that. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me do something here because I want to check in at here. Hello, Instagrammers. Kick is a moving. I see Xanter13 has chimed in. And Xanter13 to say, hey man, enjoying my stream. I thank you for showing up. We're good here. Instagram is going. YouTube is a going. Ah, thank you. Kick is going. LinkedIn, hello, LinkedIners. How you guys doing? Oh, Substack, leave Substack alone. You don't want to mess with Substack. You know, I want to stream to Twitter or Twitter X. I'd even like to stream to Blue Sky. Can it even do it? Threads, what's happening to Threads? Anyway, we're not going to worry about that for now. We're going to rock and we're going to roll. Let me go back here to, going to go here. It is now 6:40 Eastern Standard Time. I am Tim Fielder. We've been on for about an hour and a half. Want to go at least another hour and a half. We can go longer, we will. I have some chicken wings already made up in the air fryer, so dinner will be consumed when I'm done. Hello, I am the leopard. Who is I am the leopard? Who is I am the leopard? You've been on here before. Anyway, so we're good here. I like the way that's showing up there. Yep. Got two of those things going. I think we're going to leave LinkedIn. No, we're going to leave Facebook open here. Okay, there we go. Yep, there we go. I like it. All right, now let's keep painting here, or erasing in this particular case. All right, we got all the big stuff kind of done and out of the way there. There we go. Wanted to do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we have the, there we go, like that. Yep. Mm-hmm. And if we have to fill that in, we will. We shall fill it in. Alrighty. I think let's go underneath the horsey here. The horsey. Gotta go underneath the horsey here. And go underneath his jaw and chin there. Okay, there we go. I mean, whoops. We don't want to do that. We messed up. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Now I can go big strokes, broader strokes. Let me make the brush bigger here. Alright, see what's happening? Yeah, we can do that now. We can do that. We can go through, do broader strokes. There we go. There we go. Yep. There we go. Great. All right, so we got that part there mostly done. Go here. I don't mind if it goes up because all that's going to be deleted anyway when I do my inverse clearing. All right, there we go. See, so that's what I want to do. I want to keep the light on these guys. That's what I want to do. I want to keep the light on them. However, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. I'm going to select a little bit here. And now we're going to go over here. And we're going to paint off in this section. But you know what? We should not do that with a hard brush. We should do that with a little airbrush. See what's happening there? Yep, there we go. Yep. So I can go here. I can even select that color. See, I'm selecting that color and it's dropping that color in. Alrighty. And I don't mind if there's some transparency in there because I don't mind the textures and stuff showing through in this section. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay. See that? See how what that happens once you do that? It kind of adds a kind of a backing bone to this. And that's pretty good. I like that. All right, good there. Now, let's go here. See what I'm doing? See I'm adding that on there? We can still keep our shadows and stuff. Right? There we go. See how he's laying off in there? And that opacity is allowing a little tone to come through. See how he fits there? That's pretty good. I can live with that. But watch this guy here. This guy here is a little off. So let's go in and paint him in. See what's happening? I love this. I love this because I can still paint. Still got to paint. Still got to draw. No escape from it. You have to paint as much. Thank God. Right? It's like Michael Whelan, who I mentioned earlier. I would have loved to have seen Michael Whelan do a comic. Michael Whelan can't do a comic his way of working. He would be dead by the time he finished it. That's not the objective. Chris Moeller, who will probably never see this broadcast, who's did these books here. This is one of the greatest books ever done. Let me show you guys this thing here. This book, Faith Conquers, by Chris Moeller. One of the greatest science fiction series ever. I was talking with Chris Moeller a while back. He's done 3 books. He's done playing games as well. I mean, or the tabletop role-playing games, I think. But I was speaking with Chris a while ago, and I said, man, I love your work. You going to be doing that again? He said, no. Why? It takes him 4 years to paint a book from beginning to end. That's crazy. That's crazy. And this guy, I'm going to tell you, for those folks who don't know, is one of the greatest cartoonists who's ever lived. I'm telling you, Chris Moeller A lot of people know, well, he's just like a Star Wars artist, isn't he? Christopher Moeller, is one of the greatest comic book artists who's ever lived. I'm going to say it again. Christopher Moeller is one of the greatest comic book artists who's ever lived. The problem is, Chris Moeller has insanely chosen, like myself, to work as a fully rendered cartoonist. And to do the work that he does would kill him. It would kill him. The human body is not made to withstand that level of effort, and he's done it 3 times. To such an extent, I imagine he's probably not much older than me. I'm 59, maybe Chris is 59. I don't know how old Chris is. He's now doesn't do it anymore. He makes tabletop games because it's easier. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We want to be able to finish our work. Right? This technology allows me to be able to do that. But you see, what am I doing? Still painting. Still painting. I considered at one point leaving some of these things to be brown, but I didn't want to do that. I want to be able to have that white, that kind of white really shine through. That's what I want. Decided I wanted that. I don't know if Jerry Kraft was on my page last night talking smack. See, that's like the people like leave it to that guy. You know, he comes in here and he starts making jokes while I'm trying to work, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's the problem with people like that. Anyway, so we're going to go here. We're going to grab a little of the skin tone here. Watch this. See? See what I can do? See how I'm doing that? Watch this. See? I can add in that skin tone. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Love it. See that? Pow! Hand-holding bottle. Right? That's good. Good, 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 good. Most of the tones, though, I'm going to leave on there. I have to go in and add some stuff and do all that. But right now, that's pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot. However, here we go. The moment of truth. Let's see. What happens if we click here? All right, there we go. Now, you didn't see what happened then. What happened then when I did it, it selected everything that was visible in there. Everything solid object. Let me turn this off and on. You'll be able to see what's been selected. It's all of that stuff. Got it? That's what it is. Now, there are certain elements here that are not selected. So I can go through here. So I need to erase because there are things I missed. Right? Things I missed. That's okay. It's okay to miss some things. Go through and pick it up. Notice how that hand there was done. That's why I love using this technique. Because it gives me a little bit of latitude. You don't have to be perfect with it. See? That's pretty daggone good. That's pretty ding dang good, man. Yes, I know I said ding dang. All right. All right, not bad. Here's the issue, though. Let's look here. See what's happening? That image there's a little, see how that line on that flag there's a little bit there? Watch what we can do here. We can do this. We can take this here and we can just smudge it over. See, I'm not even warp it over, actually. You're not even really smudging anything. You're warping this over. Right? You're keeping the imperfections. That looks pretty good there. See, let's do it here as well. See how that, we want to close that line up there. See what's happening? We're moving it over. Yep, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good there, man. Alrighty. Okay, that's good there. Let's go down here in the bottom. And we'll move that down a little bit. Yep. Move it down a little bit. All right. That looks pretty good. Now, here's the moment of truth. What we want to do here is we now want to turn That's not the one. This is the one. Nope, that's not the one. This is the one. Is that the one? Oh, let's see here. We're going. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I got it. 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 That's pretty good. We want to turn that one on. All right, you see what I did? I want to turn this one on. But what I'm going to do here is I am going to take this and I'm going to move this below so that the background here, notice how the background is mostly the same? Mostly the same? Right? Mostly the same. Mostly. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to remove. Okay, so that's that part there. That's the background. See how the background is there? That's doing what it's doing. Now, you'll notice the lines are still there, but watch what I can do here. Before I get rid of anything, this is what I'm going to do. Watch this. I'm going to take this, because see the old flag and that image is right there. We don't want that. We want to be able to take this. First of all, let's see what that is a normal. Okay, that's a normal. We want to set this one here. Is that it? Yeah, we want to set that one to a normal. It's all right, set to normal. Okay, good, good, good. Let's move that up a little bit there. Yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're good. All righty. Now, here's where it's going to get a little interesting. Like I said, I've been going for a while now. It's 6:53. I do want to get a little comment stuff done. And my legs are shaking here because I think I have to take a bathroom break pretty soon. We've been going now for 1 hour and 43 minutes. I intend to make tonight last a little bit longer because I can. But I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. In order for that to happen, I gotta take a chicken wing break, man. I'm gonna be hungry, and if I eat too later, much later than 7, then I do intermittent fasting, and I'm below 230 now. When I almost died in April, I was at 254, 256 off in there, and now I'm 230, 229 when I checked. I kind of wilded out a little bit over the weekend with ice cream. Ice cream is delicious, right? And so what I had to do, of course, I did my 5 miles today. I didn't do it yesterday for some reason. But, yeah. All right, so you see the color scheme there? That's good. This is not good. That is not good. I want the color scheme to stay, but I think the color scheme might be... All right, if I go here... that's the color scheme there, and that is set as an overlay. Here, this is also set as an overlay, but if I go here and here, you'll notice the color schemes are very different. I want them to match. So what I've got to do here, so that's this one. So if you look at that, that's pretty close, isn't it? Look at that. Look how close that is. That's pretty good. That there is pretty good. So I could, in theory, go without that. But if I go here and I say bump this down a bit. There we go, right about there. See, that's about the same. Very close to the same. Yes. Bump it up just a little bit here. Nope. Take it down. That is not bad. Oh, I took it down to 0 there. All right, I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I, Tim Fielder, can live with that. Now we're going to go here again. Turn that off and on. Okay, that's pretty good. Turn that back on. Come on, turn on. There we go. There we go. Now, while I have this here, I'm going to start smudging not smudging, but warping that background to cover up the other areas. See what's happening? There's no need for me to redraw this. All I have to do is just simply stretch it so that it fills in the areas that I don't need. Okay, that's that guy's shoulder there. So that's not bad. Okay, that's good. And go here. Yep. So I can live with that. See what's happening here, guys? So I'm able to take all this stuff down off of here. Now, this eye here, that's going to be a problem. But whoops, there we go. See? So that's good enough. I can live with that. I can live with that. All right, we need to take this here. There we go. See what's happening? It's pretty good. You might say, well, Tim, aren't you going to have to erase that? Well, I think I have a layer where these parts can be selected and deleted. All right, there we go. All right, let's go here one more second. Let me just look over here. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yep. All right, now let's do this. I don't know if this is going to work. I might have to go in and ink this in with a little line, or leave it the way it is, which looks pretty good there. That looks pretty good. Now I will go in and smudge. I will go in and blend that. That's, yep. As much as I didn't want to do this to start, I think we might be okay here. See what's happening? All right, make sure the trees here are colored correctly. And all I'm doing here is just warping that color because I want to keep the colors consistent. All right, you see? I'll make that brown fit right off in there. So that, in my opinion, whoops, go right there because we want that flag to have that funk happening to it. So now we go here, see? And bring that brown in that flag. See what's happening? I can live with that. That is pretty cool. But now we need to bring that down a bit. See? Because that line on that flag is right there. See? See what's happening? There we go. All right. Not bad. Let's go back and do a check. Yep. Not bad. That looks pretty good to me. All right, let me just take a little bit of this here. Just go just a little bit. See what's happening here? And why am I not worried about that? Because I'm going to delete outside of that anyway. So that's pretty good. I can live with that. All right, let's go in here, just tweak a little bit around here so that we can get ready to delete some stuff. See? Want this to go on his head there. Yep. All right, now I could, well, let's see, we're not going to worry about that because again, that's going to be deleted as well. So we're good there. All right, now let's take these down. There we go. See? All right, there's a little trees and, not trees, but grass there. Good there. All right, there we go. Not bad. Now, let me take this. It's going to be a little weird here. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually painting that part. See what's happening here, guys? And I want to make sure I got that right. Yep, that's pretty good. Yep, there we go. All right, so I'm pretty good with that line here, but I want to just take a little bit of the crud here. I'm going to add, see, I'm adding that crud there, that line. So that's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. do the last thing here. Okay, we're good there. Now let's take a little blend brush here. See, I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. See, I'm smoothing that out a little bit. Watch this. See, I'm smoothing this. It's one of the beauties of this type of software, digital illustration software. You can just put stuff in there and just make it. It just blends and it does a good job. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good to me, baby. Now, watch this. What we want to do here is we want to take these trees here because they had the guy walking back there, remember? We don't want that to be there. We want that to be here. And we want to move that over there. It's okay if it's not perfect because keep in mind it's a different illustration and light can change slightly. And it's my drawing. I can do whatever I want. Okay. Got this here. I want to blend that a little bit there. I want to blend this a little bit so it's not as warped. Right? So, see what I'm saying? We can blend these things here so they're not as warped, but they're certainly filled up with the texture. All right. I think we're good there. I can live with everything here. Now, here's the moment of truth. What we need to be able to do now is to select. All right, let me do this with a mouse here. All right, I am Tim Fielder, visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist, known for the book Infinitum and Afrofuturist Tale from HarperCollins Amistad, Maddie's Rocket from Diesel Funk Studios, the graphic history of hip hop from the Graphic History Company, along with my writing partner, Dr. Walter D. Grayson, and our managing partner, Christina Hungsbrook Lamartina. And we do our thing, and that one will be moved over to the Comatics format as well. I'm kind of thinking it will. Kind of thinking it might happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm certainly feeling that way. You can see here I'm just smoothing a little of these things out here. There we go. See? There's a little overlap here on this section here, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that because eventually these things will receive a bit of, how should I say, it will receive a bit of paint over. You'll see what that's going to be in a bit. Alrighty. Let's go here to this one. Okay. So what we're doing now is we're going here to this one. There we go. We're going to select here, all of that there. Now you'll notice there are certain elements here that need to be selected. You can see a few of the things here. Well, I'm sorry, it should be a lasso tool there. We're going to select these guys. Whoops. I'm going to deselect these guys. I just see a little spots here, there, where I missed erasing, and that's okay. So, all right, if we have a little spots erased, because now we can grab this here and kind of like delete those things out. Let's see here. Okay, that looks pretty freaking good to me. Now, here's the moment of truth. First of all, let me delete here. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. We want to delete here. There we go. See what happened? Let's do that again. Want to get rid of that. So now my characters are actually superimposed in front of the background. See what happened? Watch what, look here. See? They're there, then they're here. See how that matched? As a matter of fact, let me go back here. I'm going to take this a little bit lower here. And we might actually, in fact, let me just turn this on and off right quick and see what happens. Ah, yes, look at that. That's pretty good. That's, you know what? We ain't going to touch that. We're going to leave that alone there. Yep. I will go over with paint and little highlights and stuff in a moment. That looks pretty good to me. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That looks very promising. Now, we have that, and keep in mind, this guy here is set there to an overlay, and this guy here is set here to an overlay. If I turn these off, that's the way those look, which is not bad. But if I go here, you can see it's on there. Let's see what happens if we go here and we move that up. Ah, I see. Let's go back down here. What happens if we move this to a multiply? Ah, that's interesting. See how that makes that fit a little bit on the two images before. That's kind of cool. I wonder what happens if we go here. All right, that's set to overlay. What happens if we go to multiply? Oh, interesting, interesting. That's close, but what happens if we bump it down quite a bit? Now that kind of works. That kind of works, and it gets that little purple in there. And I'm thinking maybe to increase this, so that's a little bit. Yes, look at that. That is pretty freaking dope. That is pretty freaking dope, man. All right. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to go here. We're going to do what we did before, because now the only thing, once I have this, I'll change the color of his coat, put highlights in both images. Even though I think the highlights here are already good. I like the kind of muted, kind of diffuse look in this panel here. I like the diffuse look in this panel here, even though it's a little bit sunnier. But if we go down a little bit more and make that's pretty good right there. That looks about the same there. That looks about the same there. I like that. I like that a lot. I think we fit a nice little middle ground on here. I think we're good there. All right, now. So we want to now grab our thingies here. I was telling Walter we're going to get around to converting the graphic history of hip hop. The plan is to do one panel a day. One, because that's going to allow me to work on a consistent schedule with everything, so I can finish up Black Prince, I can finish up graphic history of hip hop, I can keep on schedule with High John Conqueror, and my partners won't kill me. Let's see here. We're going to go here. We're going to go Command Shift I. And here, we're going to do what? We're going to go here, and if we have to move stuff over, that's okay. Go here. Yep, there we go. We're going to go backspace. Yes, done. Now we're going to go here, and they're going to go backspace. Yes, done. That panel came out pretty freaking close there. Look at that. Look at that. See that diffuse look? Isn't that dope? Dope-a-lopa, man. Dope-a-lopa. I might put in a highlight on this character here. That might be interesting, but we will see. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I love the way this process to me is so fulfilling. It is so fulfilling. It really is. And I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, but one of the things we got to do here, that horse there, yeah, that should have been moved up a little bit farther. That's my mistake there. But that's okay. We can probably fix that without a lot of pain and suffering. We can fix that with just a little bit. Okay. That's good there. We do need to shift this a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. Here, see that? See that sky there, that little part there? We need to find out what that is. That's what that is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to erase. Well, let me click here one more time. There. Yep, that's pretty good. So we now need to take this and we want to go here. Wait, hang on. There. Yep. All right, Command D. There we go. So we're shifting that, making that touch a little bit. There we go. See? There we go. That is pretty good. Now, what I need to do is I need to erase here. which I did not do before. I did not do. There we go. See? All right, I think that works. And we have a little bit of sun over there to the left. See, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, man. And now we can go here and blend. See, we can blend there a little bit. Whoops, not too much. Even though the audience would never, that's so close to it. It is my belief that at minimum, this technique and process that I utilize will begin to replace mainstream coloring. That is my belief. It will happen. There we go. Ah, yes, I love that. That I love. That is dope. That is dopey dope. All right. Let's go here. By the way, the content you're looking here is 1, 2, 3. This is enough for 4 days worth of work. So that is Monday. Well, sorry, what's today? Tuesday. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That is literally what you're looking at. Well, I'm sorry. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. This lasts till Monday of next week. High John doesn't go on the weekdays. All right, here we go. So here's the moment of truth. So what we've got to do here is, I could paint that coat. I could paint that coat for sure. I could paint the coat. But let me see if I can do this. Let's make sure is that the one. No, that this is the one here. See that? So I need to paint this coat. But how am I going to paint the coat? See all those tones? I want to keep that stuff in there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go here. I've selected that layer, and I'm going to take a lasso tool here. I'm just going to grab in this part here. Just a little bit like that. Okay, hold on. We got a knock at the front door. Be right back. I'm sure that's probably an Amazon package. Hang on, I'll be back. Bathroom break. All right, guys, I'm in the other room feeding the cat. I'll be right back. Gotta feed the cat. right, guys. Sorry about that. Took a second to take care of the cat. Sorry, apologies. I know I was gone for a bit there. There was a lot of things had converged at the same time. And I'm hungry, so I got some little chips here to hold me. Let's see here what's going on. Happening. Okay. See what's happening. Oh, wow. Hi, John. Latest episode reached 200 plays. That's good. Just went up today. That's good. It means people are watching. That's good. So weird. They're watching and reading. Isn't that weird? Interesting. That's what chromatics do. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we're going good here. Sorry. I'm hungry, man. And it's past dinner time. Now, I could keep going, break off for a second, and I could do that. I could break off for a second. Ooh, what am I doing? Watch this. Watch this. I was really screwing up there. I didn't realize I wasn't paying attention to what I was supposed to be doing. There we go. Watch this. If I double click that, see how that's all selected now? It's like, why select the stuff that you already have selected? You don't need to select that. So now, I will go through and I will deselect the things I don't need. Like that. Oops. There we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm literally removing everything but the sword. And there are little small parts and particles here around there, but I don't mind that stuff because I'm not gonna really use it much. There we go. See what's happening? So I'm removing the coat. Okay, so that's pretty good there. I'm gonna go here and remove this part here. Alright, now I can zoom out here and watch what I'm going to do now. Go here. I can take all of this here. And I can actually remove that. See what's happening? Alright. Now I'm going to do Command Shift I. So what I've done now is collapse this in on itself. So now what I'm going to do here, if I can, is I'm going to add to this section here. See what's happening? So what I'm doing here is that the only thing I'm looking to select is this guy's body. All right, so we will take this the one. Yes. All right, so now the only thing selected on this section here is his face and body. Now, you could say, well, Tim, why are you just selecting that part? Don't you want to select the other parts? No, because what I want to do here is this. And go here, right here, I'm going to take an airbrush. Watch how I do this. I'm going to tone this guy's face here. We'll keep some of the highlights there. See? Because, you know, yeah, there we go. See? See what's happening there? Yep. Still got to paint. Still got to draw it. Still got to color it. That's the way it works. No escape from that. There's a reduction in effort and labor, which is what you want, but you still got to paint. And why would I want to give that completely up? I do want to give it mostly up. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want to give it completely up. That works for me. Okay. Now, we want to go here more, a little bit of gray in there. Yep. Now, I want to take this down to a little bit darker here. Watch this. See? And then I can make this even darker. See? And all of the imperfections in there still come through. See? See what's happening? And we'll go through with highlights a little bit later on. But right now, that works. I want him to be kind of enshrouded in darkness. There we go. See? So when you move the camera out, that's how it looks. That's pretty freaking good. I can live with that. Now, here's the next thing. So I like that. I could just as easily paint in the element. But what I don't want to do is I like the way his suit is gray there. That's pretty good. I'm happy with his face and head now, but I think what I'll do is this. I'll go here. See what's happening? All right, so now just his coat and his pants here are selected, but that's okay. Whoops. See, so just the coat. Now, let's see what happens if we hit a Command L. No. We want to go to, eat some more of these chips here, little morsels. Give me a little caffeine kick. Little caffeine kick, man. Gotta have it. See, now we're gonna go to Clip Studio Paint. Gonna go to Edit, Tonal, Level Creation. Now, let's see what happens if we begin to move. Hold on. Make sure we got the right one. Oh, got the wrong one. This is the level we want. We want that one. Okay, now let's try to see what happens if we go through here. Level correction. Let's see what happens now. Ah! Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We want that to be darker. Let's make it a little bit darker. Yes. See that? That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. See that? Command S. I saved that. There we go. Mm-hmm. These chocolate morsels are great. Let's go here. Ah, something fell. Oh, just the over here. It's all good. All right, that worked pretty good. Now, I think I can live with that the way it is. That looks pretty freaking creepy. That guy coming up out of the background there, don't you think? That looks pretty freaking. I'm sorry. It looks pretty freaking creepy. To me, it does, at least. To me, it does, at least. All right, now we need to go in here. Whoops. See? We're going to start toning. Yep, off in here. So let's grab our marker here, our airbrush. We want these shoes here to be pretty dark. So we'll put in our kind of mid-tone. Now here, we'll go in and add the dark tone. See? You can do it like that. Now, here's the other thing we're going to do. Watch this. See what's happening? And the beautiful thing is the wrinkles that VizCom put in here, I can retain those wrinkles. Right? And I can go in here if I want and just tone just a little bit. See how the light is already interacting on there? That's pretty great there. I love that. That's pretty good. Can move stuff around there a little bit. Move that in there a little bit. Yep, that's pretty good. Now, let's go to white. Because he is wearing a white shirt. There. He's wearing a white shirt with a kind of slightly white tie. There we go. See? Here. Alrighty. A little white here. There we go. White there. Yep. See? That looks pretty good there. It looks pretty good, man. Now we're going to darken these hands up here a little bit. Brown. Make that a little bit darker. There we go. Right there. I like that. Let's go here to this one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yep, I don't mind that. All right, not bad. Now, we want to go here. Watch this, guys. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go in here with a kind of brighter, take that point down there. See what's happening? Then we can take a little bit of this, right? And then we can go here. We can even darken that up a little bit. See? What's happening? We're okay with the lines there happening because I'm going to add some more highlights on that. So I think he is good in terms of where he is. The only thing that's left is highlights have to be added on. But you see how that's good over there? You'll notice here there's this issue here going on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the, whoops, is that the right one? No, this is the right one. Yeah, watch this. See how I'm moving that over? And that gets rid of that kind of weird line work. There we go. So, yes. Not bad. Okay, good. So we got that. So that's all going on the edge there. I'm happy with that. Let's take this over here a little bit. So horse is there. I'll add highlights on at a later point. But for right now, I think I'm pretty dadgum good. What I want to do, one thing, let me take this smudge tool here. Can we do this? Yep, there we go. So you see I had to smooth up a little bit behind his eyes, between his head. So that's pretty good there. All right, I like that. That's nice. All right, now, next up, here we go. Moment of truth. Let's go. Before I do anything, I want to get this flag here because, again, the flag is used throughout this story because it is a essential icon that will be used throughout this story. And let's go here. There we go. So now we're going to take this. At this time, we don't need as much of it. I'll explain to you what I mean. We're going to go here. We're going to take that a little bit above. We're going to go here. We're going to move that up to here. Yep. Now we can take this down here. That's like that. And that means we can take this here, like so. Yep, like that. That's pretty good there. Yep, I like that. See how that's going? All right, now we have this. Next thing, well, let's go Command T. We can bring this down here. Oh no, yep, that's where that was correct first. Sorry, I was just trying to be a little bit impatient. All right, now let's see here. Somebody sent me a message. Who is this sent a message? Oh, what? The U.S. revokes the visa for Wole Soyinka? That's crazy. Why would it? Yeah, let's say these people are crazy, man. I ain't worried about that stuff. All right. Anyway, that's like, how do you revoke his visa? But it's like, yeah, if you don't want anything like that coming through, that's what you do. All right. So we're gonna go here. Let's go here. Now here's where we're gonna add in the imperfections. Watch this. See that imperfection there? There we go. Just like that. Do that there, there. All right, let's move this over here. All right, there we go. Okay, we're going to take this here. We're going to go to our rectangle tool. And we're going to go right here. We're going to eliminate that right about there. Great. That is gone. That is gone. Now we need to go through here. We need to eliminate this here right about there. Got it. Gone. Command D. Sorry, Command D. Want to close that. I don't know why that selection launcher came. Command D. Okay, good. Now we're going to go back here to our lasso tool here. Now we're going to go right off in there. Boom. Yep, I think we'll get rid of that. There we go. Take a little bit of this here, just a little bit, just a smidgen of it. Okay. Now I could erase this, or I could just leave those elements in there and just kind of like warp them into space. When you're warping the space, all you're doing, you're keeping the imperfections that are inherent in the folds in the drawings there, and you're just using it. See what's happening there? So that looks like a damn flag. Confederate flag it does. Okay, great. Great. Man, this is really looking quite surreal. I mean, I laid this story out years ago, and I never used it because I, had other stuff going on. But now it just seems to be right there, folks. And again, the idea is that this opening shot shows these guys are hooded, and then the closing shot shows that they're just regular, you know, white dudes. Go here. Okay, that's the flag. Wait, make sure I got that. Okay, the flag is there. Okay, we're good there. All right, what is this? That's a shadow underneath that dude. I'll name this going to flag 2. And then here will be HJ Shadow 1. Okay, good. So we'll put some time into this today. And the reason why I put some time and why I'm putting time into this is I want to make sure that I don't have to do as I'm gonna have to work on this daily for sure. But what I want to be able to do is not to be trapped in terms of trying to keep up, because there was a lot of almost all the drawings are done. Maybe there's maybe 1 or 2 more drawings that need to be drawn, the pencil ink drawings, but those are for next week. But after that, then it's just pretty much toning, and most of the toning for this, believe it or not, has mostly already been done and will be done during the week. But I don't want to have to spend most of my sessions working on High John for at least the next 2 weeks, because there's a lot of projects I want to catch up on. I want to do more work on Black Prince. I need to do the Medgar Evers project, which is weeks overdue. Thank God I was talking to one of my friends. It turns out I'm not the only one. Don't worry, Blake Barnes, I'm going to take care of you. And I want my dad to see it because it's about him. I was working on it weeks ago, but I just really need to finish it up. But, I mean, I'm looking at this here, and I just think this looks, for me, just pretty freaking powerful. And I did it for this reason. I did it for the reason of showing this. I mean, I know the imagery is kind of disturbing, but I don't care if it's disturbing. It's there. It's being done to make a point. That is the objective, ladies and gentlemen. The objective is for it to make a point. All right. Let's see here. So got that. Let's see. All right, we're good there. I think the suit is good there. I think we're good there. And I like that. Now we need to just go in and add highlights. And we don't want to go crazy with the highlights because we do want that kind of overcast feel. We got that there. Oh, let me just make sure I'm doing this on the right layers. Because that's that one there. You know what? I'm going to close that up. Oh, I'm sorry there. Flag 2. Flag 2 belongs over here. There we go. Flag 2 should be, yep, too bright. Right underneath. There we go. All right. So I had to do that. So now we got these guys. So here's where we come in now. We could do it here. That's that background there. That's pretty good there. Now, that's the line artwork. We don't need it to be that line. And also, we kind of brought the lines down. Might bring it down a little bit more. But the thing we're going to do now is this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take a little bit of highlight here. Take an amp brush. And we're going to move this to add glow. All right, let's see how this works. And let's go here to the white here. There we go. All right, there we go. All righty, so we're good there. That's good for there. Let's go on this side here. Then we're going to go right here. All right, so we got that there. Now, that's pretty good. I think I can live with that. What I want to do now is go back to this. And I want to add just a little bit of lighter tone here. Watch this, guys. See? That's what we can do with this. And I'm not looking for things to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfect rendering. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm just looking for something that's going to tell the story, have a little bit of character, and we're good. See? That's fine. See, I can live with that. Can live with that. Mobius used techniques like this where he did very loose drawings, and then he did basic kind of like, I don't know if he painted it, but that's what it was, and it was an interesting kind of color technique that he used that I kind of wanted to deploy a little bit on Hi-Jon. And again, I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm just looking for good enough. All right, that's good there. Hand. See, I'm doing just little spot stuff. Let me add a little bit here to his lip, a little bit to his lip there. All right, there we go. See? All right, a little bit there. Yep, that's it. There we go. Yep, there we go. So you see how those little highlights add things to it? And it separates the character in such a way. Still got to paint. Still got to paint. Still got to do it. No escape. Now, here's the thing I could do now. Now that this is off and that is on, in theory, I could go through and add highlights all over, but I don't want to do that. I just want to put a little bit on their faces here, and that's all I need right there, just like that. Yep, that's pretty good. Not bad, because I'm not looking for it to be, again, not looking to over render Hi-Jon. All right, now I'm going to go in for another layer here. Here's where the other moment of truth comes. And go right here to a little gray, light gray. Whoops. That's what happens when your eyesight is bad. That's what happens when your eyesight is bad, baby. All right, that's pretty good because I want that light to be a little bit stronger from coming on that side. All right, so I'm okay with the hair here. Highlights there, here, pop that there. There we go. Yep, that looks pretty good there. I can live with that. I can live with that. Now, one thing I gotta do is pop that on there. All right, that's gonna require, well, that's normal. Let's see here. What happens? All right, how's that showing up there? Is that showing up? Oh, okay. Let's take that a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this because I want the sword to have some specularity on it. So we just do it like that. Here. There we go. Now let's take this and make, right now it's set to a normal. What we're going to do is add that to add glow. There we go. There we go. See? Not bad. Okay. All right. That I think I can live with. Go right here. All right. Yep. All right, so you see what's happening there? That horse stands out a little bit. That's pretty good. Even the pole, I'll live with that. All right. The only other thing I could do, and I think it's overkill for this shot because I'm not trying, again, I'm not trying to do a fully rendered comic. That's not what I'm doing. And there's a part of me that wants to take a moment just to, let's see what, okay, that's that one. All right, let me just go here. Let me just do this. Let me just do this so I can say I did it. Let me do this so I can say I did it. Whoops. Right here. It's normal. D. Okay, there we go. All right. It's soft. Yep, I think we're good there, and that would be set to a glow dodge. There we go. All right, so you see what's happening here? It's making them pop out just a little bit. I think they need it. I mean, the Spatches don't deserve any of that. I feel like I need to do a little bit of this. Okay, adjust so they can, so the story can be properly conveyed as to what's happening here. Yep. All right, there we go. And then he's dark back there. That's not bad. All right, now I will do one thing though. Let's go here. Yep, there we go. That sword, we want that sword, the specularity on that sword to be broader. Okay, there we go. All right, this is gonna be a little weird here. Work with me. Yep, there we go. Want that shoulders to be broader. I want that. Yep, there we go. All right, I can live with that. Now let's go here. The same thing here. Whoa, what's going on there? What is going on there? And Command D. Ah, I see. All right, do we need to put this over? Yep, and we need to put that over. All right, let's erase a little bit here. All right, now we're gonna we're gonna go back to this, and we'll be able to smooth that out with a little soft airbrush. There we go. That works. Yep. Sometimes you gotta, do what's best for the drawing. Okay. Looking pretty good there. There we go. Alrighty. Now let me go through here and do this one last thing here because I can. There we go. There we go. See? So now you can see that shape, that form there. Only other thing I think that's left to do here is to take, all right, this is layer 1. There we go, we're good there. And then this layer here, this only other thing I think. Yep, we gotta get this part here. We need to just shift it up just a little bit. You probably can't even see it, but you'll see it once I move it up. All right, did that work? Not quite, but that's all right. We'll be able to take care of that now. Let's see here. That's here. Yep. Let's take it up. There we go. See? What was that? That was bothering me with the light behind here. I didn't want that to show up. All right. So we will call these images here mostly done. And I would have to say even the highlights on this stuff to really take the stuff kind of muted, sort of diffused light, even though the highlights are bringing out a little bit of it. And that's okay because I want people to be able to make out what's going on. So that looks pretty good. Let me make sure. Yep, that's the right one. Now we need to do the last little touch will be the last touch of this man will be, nope. Ah, okay. Let's see, is this it? Nope. All right, we got it. We got it. We got it. I know we got it. This one is the one. Yep, that's the one. All right, let's see how we can do this. So this is the issue that I have with this part here. Okay, that's good there. I don't mind that. It's this one. And this is the one that's kind of bothering me. I could let it go, but I won't let it go. Because I can't afford to let it go. But one of the things I'm going to do is this. I'm going to select right here. Okay. Now we're going to, how are we going to do this? We're going to tweak a little bit right here so we can, okay, that's good. I think that's good. I think that's good. See the carriage is not equal. It's not equal there. It needs to be moved over. All right, let me just make sure I got this right here. That's pretty freaking close there. Oh, it passes muster. Passes muster. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to deselect as much of this as we can so we can keep the grass the same, mostly the same. Right? All this stuff here, we want to get rid of all of that because that's important that we keep that. These things here mostly working. I'm going to go here, and then we can go here, right there. Now, here we go. Let's see what happens. We want to move that carriage right about there. All right, good. Okay, we got that. Now we need to take, watch this here. You'll see what I'm going to do in just a moment. Hang on. Get that right there. And I think we will go a little bit farther on this. Right there. Now we're going to do... I'm going to do right here as well. And there as well. Okay. I think we might be okay. Yes. All right. So what we're going to do now is this. We're going to do Command C, Command V. And what I end up doing is when you do that, what happens is it makes a copy, but it makes a copy immediately to the next layer. So now I can move that right in place right there. There we go. Let's take that down just a little bit. Right. Nope. Right there. Right there. No. Okay. I think we're good there. All right. Now, I want to take this. Want to merge that. Whoops. Can we merge down? Merge with layer below. Okay, great. So that's pretty good. All right, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that. That's not perfect, but I don't need it to be anything else other than what it is. All right, now we're going to go here. We're going to take our airbrush here. I've been talking for a lot. Hello, Joaquin Shea. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Great dude. I worked with him. Had a pretty interesting time at the Schaumburg Black Comic Book Festival this year. That was an experience we won't forget anytime soon. All right, bro? Let's see. We're going to go here. There we go. There we go. See? Boom. All right, great. I think we can live with that now. We can live with that. All right. Fantastic. I know that's such a small thing. That's really such a small thing, but I couldn't let it go. I had to do something about that. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Now, I would say that these images here are mostly done, but let me do one thing here. We're going to go here. We're going to select our magic wand tool. We're going to go right here. All right, now here's the moment of truth. Horse copy. All right, wait. Let's see. Do we have the borders there? We do not have the borders there. All right. I kind of like that. There's a part of me that feels like that needs to be a little bit brighter. Hold on, let's see what happens here. Go Command U. Will that work? No. If I do Command U and I take the saturation up, maybe? Is that going to work? Oh, that's what happened. All right, let's do Command U. What it was, I selected that. So watch it now. Saturation up. Oh, see, that's too much. See how that, I mean, that's pretty dope, but that's not what we want. We don't want that. What we want is back where it was, which is a 0, and we want it to be brighter because we want the sky here to match there. So I'm going to go up a little bit. Let's say, yep, that's a little bit too bright. Let's say 29. Right there is pretty good. 29 and 5. Gonna go okay. So you see how that there fits with the ground underneath there. So we're gonna do that 29 and 5. Let's remember that. 29 and then 5. Oh, not 28, man. 29 and 5. Oh, what happened there? Why did that? Hold on. Let's go back and redo this. All right. Command U. $29, 5. Right, which is pretty. Luminosity. Luminosity. Oh no, the whole thing. There we go. Command D. Okay, let's try it again. Command U. That'll be 5, 29. Here the luminosity goes up. Is that right? Huh. That looks weird. All right, what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong? All right, let's go. We're going to do it manually. We're going to do it manually. With the objective is to make this stuff fit. Maybe that's 5. Maybe that's 29. Oh. All right. That's okay. Look, my eyes aren't that good. 29 and 5 on that. The top, the hue remains the same. All right, I got it. See, y'all was making a mistake. All right, 5 and then 29. Yep, there we go. Right there. Is that right? And it's okay if it's a little bit darker. Let's take it up a little bit higher there. How about that? Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right, let's go here. This one. Command U. And these skies are all a little bit different. So we're going to go here with our, that'll be 5. Right? And then this will be a little bit lighter there. 30? Let's say 37. Yeah, that matches that up above. So that's 5 and 37. Let's try it on this one here. U, 5 and 37. Oops. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's okay. All right, let's turn that up there a little bit. Yep, a little bit lower. Hmm. Don't know how I'm feeling about that. But one of the things I could do is this. I prefer the sky here at the top better. Yeah, I prefer that one better. Let's get rid of this. We're going to go delete because we do want consistency around the skies. Go here, go there. We're going to bring this down here. Yep. All right, that sort of works. Yeah, that sort of works. Sort of works. Why is that looking so weird? Why is that tone darker? I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But you know what? We might have to live with it. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So we're good there. I think we're good. They do not look the same, though. They don't look the same, even though they are the same. Let's see here. Let's multiply. Let's multiply. All right. And then we go here. All right. Any rate, so let's do this. Now, here's the moment of truth. So we've got that down there. Now, what we want to do here is we want to take, let's see, we can take this here. I'm going to select here. What we're doing is we're selecting around all these layers here, which they all seem to be selected, which is great. And then we want to go, where do we want to go? We want to go to here. We're going to add a layer here, and we're going to go to edit, fill. Yes. And there we go. That is done. So these layers here, that's 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much done. And I think now what we can do is to, I think we're good here. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. That's a pretty creepy shot here with the guy coming out of the back. There's only one thing I'm going to add here, just because I'm a jerk. Just because I'm a jerk. Let's go here. I don't have to do this, but I'm doing it anyway, because why not? I'm doing it anyway, because I'm a jerk. Okay? I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk. Oops. Yep. See, I like that kind of sun. See that sun falling there? And I'm going to switch that over to color dodge. And then we're going to drop that down just a smidgen, just like that. Yes. There we go. So that gives you the impression that sun is falling. The sun is falling very quickly. Yes. I like that. Wow, that looks kind of creepy. Anyway, so here we go. We're good there. I'm liking the way that looks. I'm very, very happy with that. It is 8:14. I could call this finished. This particular layer here, the only thing that needs to be done now is these images need to be put out, and the lettering needs to be on there, and this image here will be the first one coming up. So this will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then Monday. And Monday, you can expect Monday to be pretty freaking bloody. Yep, I would say so. I'd say so. But this is good. Very pleased with the way this started. Oh, sorry. Forgive me. One last thing I did not put on there. This is so very important that this, we're going to do Command C. Want to put a noise layer in here, because what the noise layer does is it makes things look like they are done on paper. See how that is? So watch this. If I turn this off and on, watch what happens. See? Look at that. I want that kind of charcoaly look. Some we're going to be using on black print. See? It displaces the perfection in the drawing. It adds texture and makes it feel a little bit aged as well. And I can live with that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Now, there's only one other thing that is disturbing me. Is that line. Is there a line there? That line there. Why is that line there? Yeah, that. Huh. All right, let me do one thing here, and I'm going to see if I can do this. What happens if I take the smudge tool and I just do a little bit? Just a little bit. What happens there? Oh, yes. There we go. See? Boop. Bam. 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 I was wondering why that thing on the border wasn't showing up there, but I think we're good. Can tweak that. See how I'm going through it now? Because I want that the bottom of that background there to be pretty freaking solid. There we go. Not perfect. And I do see other lines here, but you know, when you zoom into them, they kind of disappear. So that's fine. I think we're good there. All right. That looks pretty damn good. If I do say so myself. That looks pretty freaking hot. Wow, it comes out of the thing, then the guy's there sitting there, then it just goes there, and the bull, then he's right up on him. Oh my God, he's about to do some really bad things to these guys. All right, let's go here, turn that off. Right there. Okay. So we go from this one, which you guys have seen thus far. Then we go here to that one. So I'm feeling good, and I like the sun that I put on there. It means the sun is just dropping. I love kind of, it doesn't have to be overblown sunsets, but diffuse sunsets. I think it looks dramatic, and that works. Okay, so we'll save this. I will output these here, and then I'll put the lettering in, have one ready to go tomorrow morning. I'll probably do all four, so I won't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. I mean, I'll put it up, but you know, every day, but you know, the images will be done. So I think we're good there. All right. Let's go to select. Reselect. Okay, there we go. Now I want to go right here one more time. And what we want to do here is we want to modify. We want to expand the selected area by 1 pixel. 1 pixel. Do we want to do that? Hold on, let's zoom in here. All right, we want to try it again. What we're going to do here is we're going to go select. We're going to expand. Want to expand selected area. Okay. Or do we want to reduce the selected area? Maybe what we want to do is reduce. Let's cancel that. We want to reduce the selected area. Shrink selected area by 1. All right, let's see what happens now if we do that. Oh, you could barely see that. Try one more time. We'll do it by 3. Shrink selected area, we're going to do it by 3. Oh, okay. So we want to go in the reverse here. We want to expand selected area, but we're going to do it by 3. Do that by 3. Yep, there we go. Now let's go back here. We're going to do another fill with black. There we go. And now this should get rid of any of the other stuff that's going on there. Command D. Yep, that did that. Yep, pretty good. No weird lines showing through. Okay, good. All right. Hi, John Dunn. I would continue to go, but we've been on for over 3 hours today. I got more work to do today, but I got to eat because if I eat too late, I'm gonna have broke. My fast needs to start back up, and I've been on intermittent fasting for a bit now. That's good. I will do a little bit more comment stuff either tonight or whatever. But for right now, happy with what I got. I am Tim Fielder, visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist. I do this. I try my best to stream 5 days a week. I feel very, very good about it. I feel very, very positive about it. Is it perfect? No. Is it rocking? Yes, it is. I'm doing my thing, so you don't have to. If I'm going to be an OG Afrofuturist, I think we need to see a little bit more Afrofuturism. Can't speak for anyone else, but I can certainly speak for myself. And why should people have to wait for 10 to 24 months or 12 to 24 months before they see a book? That doesn't make sense to me. Because you don't really need to see a book. You just need to see an ongoing story. So that is what I've done. I feel pretty good about it. Let's rock and roll. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderfully fantastic evening. I will see you tomorrow as normal. Take care. Peace and love to everyone. Take care. See you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Trying to get my numbers up. Peace.